This is the Vive 3-wheel mobility scooter. If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience using it day to day, what felt good, what did not, and what I think it makes sense for. This is a 3-wheel mobility scooter meant for people who need help getting around indoors, or for normal errands outside on fairly even ground. I have used it for things like moving around the house, going through tight hallways, running quick errands, and doing a grocery trip where I actually needed to carry a few bags. The main reason I was interested in this one is that it is compact. It turns in a small space, and it breaks down for transport without turning into a whole project. The first thing I noticed when I got hands on it was how it feels put together. It does not feel flimsy when I lean my weight into it, and the steering column does not feel loose. The finish is simple and clean, and it looks like something built to be used every day instead of something that is trying to look flashy. The front basket is also one of those things that sounds small until you use it. I ended up using it constantly for mail, a small bag, and a couple of lighter grocery items. It is not for heavy loads, but it saves you from trying to balance things on your lap. Setup was straightforward. I did not need tools. I took my time, followed the instructions, and it took me around 20 minutes from opening the box to being ready to drive. Nothing about the process required special knowledge. The parts made sense, and once it is together, the scooter feels stable. The kind of setup that matters here is not just the first day. It is whether you can live with it when you need to take it apart and put it back together again. I have done that several times, and it is manageable. The seat is where I pay attention first, because if the seat is bad, I do not care how well it drives. This seat is padded enough that I can sit on it for a while without feeling like I need to get up immediately. The seat also swivels, and that is not a gimmick. It makes getting on and off a lot easier, especially if you're trying not to twist your back. I deal with some lower back discomfort, and having the seat swivel plus the armrests there for support makes transfers feel more controlled. I also appreciate that I can adjust the seat height a bit to match what feels natural for my legs and hips. Driving it is simple. The controls are on the steering column in front, and after a couple minutes it felt automatic. The speed control is helpful because I do not want the same speed in every situation. In a store or inside the house, I keep it slower so I am not constantly tapping the control to correct. Outside on the sidewalk, I can turn it up and keep a steady pace. It has forward and reverse, and the reverse is useful for backing out of a tight spot without doing a lot of awkward repositioning. The turning is one of the best parts of using a 3-wheel scooter like this. In my kitchen, and in a couple of narrower indoor spaces, I was able to make turns that would be annoying with a larger 4-wheel design. I could pivot around furniture and get lined up with a doorway without doing a bunch of little back and forth moves. That said, a tight turning scooter also means you should take turns at a controlled speed. If I try to take a sharp turn too fast, I can feel that it wants me to respect the physics. If I slow down before the turn, it feels stable and predictable. Indoors, it rolls smoothly over hard floors. I noticed it is not noisy, and it does not feel like it is fighting the surface. Outdoors is where expectations matter. On smooth sidewalks and parking lots, it is easy. On grass, it can get across short patches, but I would not treat grass as my main surface. On uneven pavement, it still moves through, but you feel the bumps more, and I naturally slow down. Where it feels limited is steep inclines and rough terrain. If I point it at a steep ramp, it will try, but I can tell this is not designed for aggressive hills. For normal neighborhood slopes and standard curb cuts, it has been fine for me. I just would not buy it expecting it to behave like an off-road vehicle. Battery life has been consistent in my use. When I charged it fully and then ran errands, I was able to cover about 12 miles before I felt like I needed to head back and recharge. That is enough for the kind of daily routine most people will use it for. I also like that the battery indicator is easy to read while I am driving. It is not the kind of thing you want to guess about. Portability is a big part of why I would consider this scooter. I have broken it down and loaded it into my car, and I can do it without feeling like I need a second person every time. It comes apart into 4 pieces, and the heaviest piece is about 29 pounds. For me, that is still something I have to lift carefully, but it is doable. Reassembling it at the destination takes a couple minutes once you know the steps. If you are planning to travel with a scooter, this matters more than people think, because if it is annoying to transport, you will stop taking it with you. I also want to talk about the little real-life things. The headlight is useful in dim parking lots or if you are heading back toward the car later in the day. The horn is there if you need to get someone's attention. I do not use it often, but I prefer having it. The top speed is about 3.7 miles per hour. That sounds slow if you have never used a mobility scooter, but in practice, it feels appropriate. It is quick enough to get where you are going without feeling like you are crawling, but not so fast that it feels reckless in crowded areas. There are a couple drawbacks I think you should know. One is that this scooter is happiest on flat ground. It will handle normal surfaces, but it is not meant for steep hills or rough paths. Another thing is that depending on your delivery situation, shipping can be inconsistent. I did not have an issue personally, but I saw enough comments about delays that I think it is fair to mention. I would not order it the week you need it. After using it in everyday situations, my overall impression is that it does what it is supposed to do without a lot of fuss. It is comfortable enough for longer sits. It is easy to steer. It fits into tighter indoor spaces, and I can transport it when I need to. I would recommend it for someone who wants help getting around the house, stores, appointments, and normal errands, and who values a scooter that can be taken apart and loaded into a car without turning into a stressful event. I will leave all the information about the Vive 3-wheel mobility scooter in the comments. I hope to see you again in the following videos.